Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kate Ertman. I am the president of the Rotary Club of Portland. Welcome to our online video weekly membership meeting. So, as you may have read in your spokes email last Friday, your club leadership team is diligently working on how to best conduct our annual end-of-year activities, including the changing of the guard, which is always on the last Tuesday meeting in June. This year it will be held online, of course, but we are going to strive to still make this event as notable as possible, honoring those who have served this year and those who will be entering leadership on July 1st. Also, please keep your eyes out for a club-wide survey to arrive in your inbox sometime in the next few weeks. Now, the purpose of this survey, which we generally do about every 3 years or so, the purpose of the survey is to assess our club's interests, our club's values, and this time we would also like to better understand how members are staying engaged during this health crisis. So your participation in filling out this survey as a member of our club, it's extremely valuable. No matter if you have a ton to say or if you only have brief feedback, your input is the information that will be discussed as we evaluate our processes and as we plan for the future. Great. So now please welcome Rotarian Kim Cash to give this week's reflection.
Thank you, President Kate. This is Memorial Day weekend, and so I have chosen a quote from Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel: "Without memory, there is no culture. Without memory, no civilization, no society, no future." And it's interesting to think about memory and the future, but really I know as a mom who has spent 30 years raising daughters and working up traditional birthday parties and holidays and games from my past and my grandparents' past, I'm not doing it with an eye toward the past. I'm doing it with an eye toward the future. And certainly in these strange times, we find ourselves with so many things that we didn't even know were traditions, going to a coffee shop or going to a Rotary Club meeting, taken away from us, and we realize how important those Tuesday afternoon lunches were. And in the spirit of tradition, this time of year we host the Rose Court Festival, and it supports educational scholarships, community outreach, volunteerism, and gives us a chance to hear from some outstanding young women. And it's a pull from our past with an eye toward our future. And I just appreciate being able to reflect with you via Zoom today, and look forward to seeing you again in person soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate you being able to do the reflection today and for making it very significant for what this holiday weekend has been. Now, I would like to welcome any virtual guests that we may have today. Thank you for tuning into our weekly membership meeting. And I would also like to extend a happy anniversary to everyone who became a Rotarian in the month of May. You can see the membership May anniversary list. It's in the email that was sent along with this video link, and it's also on our website under the header of membership. As always, my fellow Rotarians, if you look at the anniversary list, it's a great way to help you decide which fellow Rotarian you may check in with this week, especially because then you'll have that opportunity to actually say happy anniversary, and you will also have the opportunity to thank them for their years of service above self. All right, now I would like to talk about or introduce the representatives from the Peace Builders Committee, which is the committee that we are highlighting this month of May. So please welcome Rotarian Leslie Brunker and past president, past district governor, Rotarian Danielle Banks, and they're going to tell you a bit about the work that the committee is currently involved with.
Hi, everyone. Hey, it's great to reach out to you this way. No quiz from me today, though, sorry. I am here to talk about one aspect of our Peace Builders Committee work, and that is the Community Peace Collaborative, or CPC. The CPC is a regular gathering of community members and resources facilitated by the Office of Youth Violence Prevention. We meet every other Friday for 90 minutes, and we receive reports from the Police Bureau, the DA's office, Parks and Rec, and various community service organizations who are doing great things to help in the prevention of violence in our city. Sometimes there are celebrations, and sometimes we have really hard conversations. We address hot issues like gang violence, racism, inequities, drug abuse, street shootings, and communication between communities and the police, and many other subjects. About 7 years ago, our Peace Builder Committee made a commitment and to have at least one member at every CPC meeting as a representative of Rotary's focus on peace building. I'm happy to say that we have kept that commitment to the larger community, and sometimes we have as many as 6 or 7 of our members attending CPC to represent Rotary. It's there we've learned about many worthy programs and events that our committee has supported with funds and with volunteers. I love attending the CPC. It connects me to the larger community of Portland, and I've learned so much about my city there. I'm grateful that others have joined me. Thank you for your support of good works in peace building through your donations to our Rotary Trust. And now Danielle will tell you about a CPC spin-off group that our committee is also attending. Danielle?
Thank you, Leslie. The Interfaith Peace and Action Collaborative, known as IPAC, started meeting in July of 2016 when faith leaders and community groups came together to hold candid and respectful conversations between the Black and Brown communities and the Portland Police Bureau. The goal is to create a new narrative so that Portland becomes the role model for other cities. In the past 4 years, 6 of us from our club's Peace Builder Committee have been attending these every other Friday morning meetings. And I thought maybe you'd like to hear about some of the accomplishments of IPAC. Here we go. Providing input on press releases before they are shared publicly. Strategizing with the Portland Police Bureau when there are areas of concern, like around demonstrations and so on. Some of their tactics actually changed because of this group's and CPC's conversation with the Police Bureau. Gaining unprecedented permission to view officer-involved shooting videos before the DA's office came out with a grand jury decision. We're working with the Parks Bureau in reducing crime in Holiday, Dawson, Kenton, and Columbia parks. We will keep holding listening sessions within the North and Northeast community to heal past hurts and friction on the street, quite frankly, between the police and the community. We're addressing the internal strife around issues endured by officers of color. And we continue to discuss sustainable actions that we can recommend to Portland Police Chief Resch. For me personally, it has been a huge and total privilege to be working with the community in this way through the group known as IPAC. The impact that IPAC has made and the CPC have made have, just like Leslie said, made all of us so proud to be Portlanders. Thank you.
Well, thanks to both of you and the rest of the Peace Builders Committee for all the work that you do. It's always so impressive to hear the level of involvement and the impact that the Peace Builder Committee has on our very own community. So thank you both again, and thanks to the Peace Builders Committee. All right, now I would like to welcome Rotarian Mari Bunnage as today's Chair of the Day.
Thank you, President Kate. I am so proud to be here today, both as a fellow Rotarian, as well as representing the Portland Rose Festival Foundation as their events specialist. In that role, one of my key areas is managing the Rose Festival Court, which is comprised of 15 outstanding young women from Portland metro area high schools. And I know that they're phenomenal because I've been working with them all the way from the application process way back in December, all the way up to now. After selections in March, a typical year would see orientations in April and a full-time travel schedule starting in May, with daily visits taking the Rose Festival out into community events like our weekly Rotary meetings. However, as we all know, this year has been anything but typical. Our final 4 princesses were announced virtually from their own homes instead of high school auditoriums with their friends. We have yet to actually meet in person, but we have been meeting every week online, getting to know each other and providing learning opportunities for the court. Just last week, we had a financial workshop virtually provided by the court sponsor, Unitas Community Credit Union. 2020 is already starting to be a historic year for the Rose Festival. Instead of parades in the streets drawing huge crowds, we've been parading in place, asking our community to show their Rose Festival spirit by decorating porches and creating their very own shoebox floats. We've been evolving all of our traditions so that we can continue to inspire hope in our community, and the Rose Festival Court is no exception. We wish we were there with you in person, but instead, it is my absolute pleasure to virtually introduce the 2020 Rose Festival Court. So, let's get started. First up, we have Princess Michelle, who is a senior at David Douglas High School. Princess Michelle, here at Rotary, our motto is service above self, which is something I know you've been doing in your work with Communicare. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you've been involved at David Douglas?
Yeah, hello everyone. It's really nice to see you all. So I've been involved in Communicare since my sophomore year of high school, and I got introduced into it by a couple of friends because they really liked the experience. So I was in Communicare that first year, raising a lot of money, and then the next 2 years I was able to co-facilitate the program, which was a really big honor for me because I really enjoyed the experience and I really enjoyed the opportunity to get out there and actually work with my community. So for the past 3 years I've been in Communicare, I've been able to raise about $15,000 to give back to multiple nonprofits. And a lot of the work that we have done has been for teens in the area. So like providing mental health resources to teens in the area and getting them the resources they need. So it's been really cool to really work with my community directly.
Thank you, Princess Michelle. And would you also tell us a little bit about what your career and plans for next year are?
Yeah, so I am officially committed to Oregon State University, and I will be majoring in biochemistry and molecular biology, and I'm planning to minor in gender and women's studies next year.
Thank you very much, Princess Michelle from David Douglas High School. Next up, we have Princess Zoe from Cleveland High School. She's a junior, so she will be with us in Portland again next year. Princess Zoe, I know you are planning on becoming a special education teacher, and it seems like your work with Unified Sports may have helped you learn more about that as a career path. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done with Unified Sports and how you've been a part of that at Cleveland?
Yes, hi everyone. Well, I started Unified about 2 years ago. I started out helping with the basketball team, and I actually got introduced with Unified through my mom, who is a special education teacher. And I noticed that a bunch of the kids who wouldn't play basketball really wanted to play another sport, which is where I got the idea to start my own Unified cheer team with my friend, which is where that came into play. And so far, we have won 2 awards. We've won first place each year at a tournament for best cheer team. And each year I feel like I get to know more about the people on the team, and they're just such amazing people. And so far, me and my friend are currently trying to establish a tournament for other teams to come and compete against each other, sort of like basketball and other sports.
That sounds wonderful. Princess Zoe, for anybody who doesn't know, can you just explain a little bit about what is Unified and what's the importance of it?
Yeah, so basically Unified is where people with disabilities get to play on teams with students with without disabilities, sorry. And they essentially help each other out, they balance each other out. So whatever the person with disabilities can't do, the person without disabilities helps them and aids them and helps them play so they get the experience of playing sports.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity and a great thing that you're working on there at Cleveland High School. Thank you, Princess Zoe. Princess Brenda is a junior at Parkrose High School. And Princess Brenda, you said on your application that you have never actually attended a Rose Festival event. So can you tell us what inspired you to run to be a part of the Rose Festival court?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I think what inspired me the most was the opportunity to be able to connect with my community more. Like, as you said, we would normally be traveling around Oregon, getting to know different people and attending different events. And that was a big inspiration for me because it was a way that I could, outreach different people and get to know them differently. Another part was the scholarship. Education has always been really important for me, and I knew that if I earned that scholarship, then that would mean my mom would have to work less to save up for college tuition. And she's always worked really hard all her life, and yeah, it would mean a lot for me.
That sounds like some excellent reasons and a wonderful thing that the court can provide hopefully in a different way this year, even if we're not able to visit and travel quite as much as we would have liked. And Princess Brenda, do you have, what are your career plans? I know you're a junior this year, but what are you thinking about going into in the future?
Well, I'm not for sure yet, but I know that I like science. It's always been very interesting to me, so maybe a career in the science field. But as far as like which college or which career for sure, don't really know yet. But I know that I'm trying my best in school so that all the opportunities can be open for me. And yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Princess Brenda. Next, we have Princess Jensen, who is a senior at Lake Oswego High School. Princess Jensen, in addition to being a rock star volleyball player, I know that you are a member of the Lake Oswego Youth City Council. Can you tell us a little bit about what is involved in being a part of that?
Yeah, so it is literally a mini city council. And so we would gather together and talk about the situations that youth in our community were affected by, and like different solutions that we could bring up. And one of our main events was a TED Talk style event. And so we would bring in different speakers and we would have a certain theme. Unfortunately, this year's event got canceled, but you would get many inspiring different topics to come up and talk about youth and community and all sorts of things. So
That sounds really interesting. And I can see that you are wearing your future college shirt there. Can you tell us where you're going and what you're going to be doing there?
yes, so I will be attending Arizona State University next year in the fall, and I will be studying sports business, hopefully a minor in either kinesiology or nutrition, and I will be playing beach volleyball for the Sun Devils.
Amazing. Well done. Thank you, Princess Jensen. Next up, we have Princess Kimberly, who is a senior at Liberty. Princess Kimberly, I know that you have recently had a change in your career plans. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what prompted that change and why you've gone through with that?
Let's see if I don't cry. So I spent a really long time living out what my family wanted me to do. They wanted me to be a pharmacist because that's what my grandfather was. And when I was young, I wanted to be a writer, and I was discouraged from doing that, and I was told to pick a safer career. And so I spent a long time thinking that, oh, this is what they want me to do, so I will do it. And then junior year, I was highly involved in theater, and I realized this is what makes me feel complete. This fills my heart, and it makes me feel like I can be myself. And I did a lot of the job shadows and studying for pharmacy, and I realized this is not who I am. And so I went on to do a lot of theater and a lot of involvement in my school's news program. And that was when I felt very alive. And I said, I need to keep on doing this because this is who I am. I cannot be someone else. Because if I cannot dream for myself, who will? And so I decided I have to do this, or else I am not living.
Thank you, Princess Kimberly. I think that's something that will ring true with many people, making sure that you are being true to yourself, especially right now when all of our traditions have been uprooted and we're finding new ways. Is there something that you're doing every day now that we're in this quarantine world to make sure that you are following those values?
Yes, I am. I am doing a lot of drawing, and I am doing a lot of animating. Just a few days ago, I started a new animation project with my friend that we're hopefully going to release in August.
That sounds amazing. I look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Princess Kimberly.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Princess Dylan, who is a senior at Roosevelt High School. Now, Princess Dylan, I know that running is a major passion for you, and this year you are the varsity team captain. Can you tell us how you've been able to continue inspiring and leading your teammates in this activity while you've all been so physically distanced?
Yes, luckily there is a thing called technology, which we're all using right now. And so I'm able to keep in contact with a lot of my teammates and specifically the young women on my team. I've had starting out as a freshman, I was literally the only girl running long distance. It was me and a bunch of skinny boys running around. And so it's been really meaningful to see the change that just one girl joining the team has had on the entire community, and seeing other young girls feeling like that they have the opportunity to be a part of something, and then through running they can go on and conquer so many other things in their lives. So we've just been touching base, and luckily next year, because I am going to be staying in Portland to go to school, I've been offered the job as assistant coach for Roosevelt's cross country team. And so that's really exciting. And so I've been doing a lot of creating workouts, and just, yeah, we have weekly Zoom calls to see how the emotional side of running is going and all of that good stuff.
That sounds wonderful, Princess Dylan. And is there something you would say to a freshman girl next year who is thinking about joining a team or something that sort of, there's a lot of men and she might be the only girl?
I think never doubt yourself, and your resiliency is really the showcase of your character. So it's not really where you're starting at, how hard you fall, but like the tenacity it takes to get back up again. And so like for me, being the only girl, starting out being the slowest person on the team, like I was running a 33-minute 5K, that's bad for anybody basically. And then but it was at those lowest points that I learned like who I really was and what I was capable of. And so look for spots where you're weak at, look for things that you might necessarily not fit into, and use that as power. Like, I can be here, and that's more of a showcase on me. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Princess Dylan. That is a great lesson. Next up is Princess Wren, who is a junior at Madison High School. And Wren, you have been playing soccer for a very, very long time. What are a few of the lessons you've learned from being a part of a team and playing soccer that have helped you in the rest of your life?
Yeah, I really liked what Dylan was talking about with kind of not trying to compare yourself to other people, just being like you're on your own journey and you are working towards your best self in that sport and as a person. So just being like, I reached the goal that I really wanted, or I took one step back, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop, that I need to keep going, that step back is going to inspire me to keep going. And I've seen that in a lot of different places in my life where like I might not get the best grade on a test, but that just makes me want to study and retake the test and make sure that I'm getting to where I need to be.
That is a great, great way to look at life. And Princess Wren, what are some of your favorite hobbies at school?
Yeah, I'm a part of 2 different clubs. I'm a part of Peace and Justice Club, which is also working with CommuniCare, and the Garden Club. So with Peace and Justice, we each year we start with a mission statement, and this year we were working to raise money for climate refugees. So we worked with we did a partnership with a restaurant, and so for a certain amount of time we earned 20% of the money they made, and that really helped us raise a lot of money, and we got to donate to 3 or 4 different organizations with that money, which was really nice. And with Garden Club, we work on sustainability, and we work on learning different ways to be more eco-friendly and lower our ecological footprint.
That's great. Thank you, Princess Wren.
Thank you.
Next up is Princess Rosarina from Benson High School. Princess Rosarina, I know that a big passion of yours is opening an Islander community center here in Portland. Can you tell us a little bit more about why that is so important to you and our community here?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving us time to spend with you guys. Yeah, I always like actually I just this year, I've always wanted to be like a nurse. And then just this one day at my church, every year we have this guy, I forgot his name, but he helps us with like insurance and stuff like that. And like I was like sitting in the back of my church, and he was like trying to explain to everybody what he was doing and stuff, because we had some new members of our church that didn't understand what he was doing. And I just noticed how frustrating it was for some of my aunties who didn't understand English or didn't understand the documents and stuff like that that they needed. And I just like felt really bad that I didn't know what to do, because like I never really got to that part of my life or whatever. So I felt bad that I couldn't really help out, but I tried my best to interpret. And then just that one day, I realized that like if I had a place for not only my people, my island, but all islands in the Pacific, for them to have like better resources, because I know that most islanders need help with stuff like that, or need more better connections or resources, because we're not the only community that isn't known or doesn't have the right resources, but we are one of the communities. And I would like to provide that space, not only for us to get better resources, but for us to connect and have a safe space to showcase our culture and just to be safe, you know, because if I was a kid and I had a community center from like islanders, like I know I would be there every day. Like it'd be fun, like yeah. So that's one thing that I'm really passionate about and what I really hope to open. So once I open it in the future, I'll let you guys know to come and I'll give you guys a tour. Yeah.
That sounds amazing, Princess Rosarina.
Thank
and
you.
I know that that's something that I've heard the passion, and you can see it when you start speaking, that it's something you care about quite a lot. So I look forward to seeing that community center one day in the future. Next up, we have Princess Anya, who is a senior at Lincoln High School. Princess Anya, you said you were very shy in your freshman year, which I'll be honest, is not something I have noticed in the last few months we've spent together. And I think that's showcased a little bit by all of the leadership roles you've taken on at your school. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those?
Yeah. Hi everyone. So yeah, my freshman year, I didn't really open up much because I had come from a middle school that was very small. So not a lot of the kids from my middle school were at my high school, which was really intimidating for me. And slowly, one by one, I started getting involved in more and more things. The first thing that I got involved with was my mom pushing me to get involved with, which was a youth leadership committee in my neighborhood to organize events to get the youth in the neighborhood more involved. And after some time, I started joining other things because I actually really enjoyed being a leader in the community and working to support different aspects in the community. So then I ended up joining the South Asian Student Union at my school. I joined the Multnomah Youth Commission, which is a commission for Multnomah County, a youth policy body. And I ended up becoming the president of the Youth Leadership Committee in my neighborhood, the co-president of the South Asian Student Union, one of the co-chairs of a committee on the Multnomah Youth Commission, and then for my senior year in high school, I ended up running and became my school's student body co-president. So that was really exciting. That I didn't even realize how many leadership opportunities I was stepping into as my time in high school went on, but I just found myself more and more comfortable and felt like really in my place, in my zone when I was in these different organizations. So yeah, that was really exciting.
Thank you, Princess Anya. Yes, it doesn't sound like you are a shy freshman anymore. Next up, we have Princess Melissa from Central Catholic High School. And Princess Melissa, I know you are one of the founders of a very important club at Central Catholic that's focused on young women. Can you tell us about that, please?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm one of the founding members of a club at my school called the Girls Who Code Club, which is a national club. You might have heard of it before, but basically what the club is just a place for girls who like computer science, who love to code, and it's just a safe space for them to, it's girls only, so it's just a safe space for them to not feel like, especially in a male dominated field, for them to feel like they can be themselves and push themselves. And it's just a girls supporting girls kind of environment, which is, I think, especially helpful in such a kind of it's going into something, a field like STEM can be pretty terrifying, I guess, or intimidating for a lot of women. And I think clubs like Girls Who Code and just clubs that encourage women in any type of format are just especially needed right now. So I'm just really glad that I could help the girls at my school.
That sounds amazing, Princess Melissa, and you're absolutely right. Providing those opportunities for anyone who doesn't have them in whatever capacity is a really great thing. So that sounds amazing that you took it upon yourself to help found that club at Central Catholic. Are you planning on doing anything like this in the STEM side of things when you go to university next year?
Well, in the fall, I'll be attending UC San Diego, and I'll be majoring in literature and writing, but I am hoping to get a minor in computer science, and I'll hopefully try to find any clubs that have to do with either supporting women or just women in coding. I think I'd love to join one of those.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, Princess Melissa.
Thank you.
Next up is Princess Grace, who's a senior at St. Mary's Academy. And Princess Grace, one of the large components of the Rose Festival Court program is the mentorship opportunity. But I know you already have a lot of experience, not in being the mentee, but being a mentor as a part of TIES. Can you tell us about that and how you participate?
Absolutely. So hi, everyone. TIES is a program at St. Mary's that teaches fifth grade girls about science. So the program pairs up fifth grade girls with St. Mary's students so that we can teach them all about science. And it's a full year-long program. So last year, I was lucky enough to have a mentee named Chloe. She was incredible, and we still hang out now. She's basically my little sister. I love her so, so much. And then this year, I was lucky enough to be a TIES captain, which means I was leading a group of other high school students. So I love TIES. It's been an incredible opportunity to encourage young women in science and also get to see St. Mary's students enjoying the STEM field.
That sounds great. And Princess Grace, can you also just briefly touch on one of your princess inspirations that I know is very important to you?
I was hoping you'd ask. So I love 1950s fashion, and along with that comes a deep love for Grace Kelly. As someone who not only shares my name, but shares a similar love for 50s fashion, and having actually lived in the time, I think she's absolutely incredible. And she too is a princess. So having someone who embodies the grace, the elegance, the sophistication that I see in the Rose Court has been absolutely amazing. And that's one of the reasons I love Grace Kelly.
Thank you so much, Princess Grace. Next, we have Princess Carmela, who is a junior at Grant High School. Princess Carmela, I know something that you have been very active in is Self-Enhancement Inc. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how that program has affected you and how you've been able to take those lessons into other parts of your life.
Yes, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. Self-Enhancement Inc. is such an important aspect in my life. I've been a part of it since I started my freshman year at Grant. I've met so many mentors there and had huge opportunities, including NPCE, which is a Nike program where I found my love for apparel and footwear design. The people at Self-Enhancement are always there for me and will continue to be a part of my life until I'm older, and hopefully I can also give back to the program as well.
That is great. It sounds like an incredible program, and I'm glad that it has been such an important thing for you. Is there something, Princess Carmela, that you would encourage younger students to join some sort of a club? How would you get them to join something if they're feeling a little bit awkward or unsure?
So I have been a part of multiple clubs. I had 4 clubs a week this year, so I love clubs and programs. I would 100% recommend anyone to join clubs because for myself personally, it's like a new family, and you're able to connect with different people depending on what you're interested in. Everyone is there for each other, and you're able to grow as a leader tremendously. I would definitely recommend anyone be a part of it.
Thank you very much, Princess Carmela. Next, we have Princess Natalie, who is a junior at Jefferson High School. Princess Natalie, I know at the moment you are planning to go into dentistry, and can you tell us a little bit about why you're planning to go into that and how I think you have plans to give back to your community with that in mind?
Yes. So when I was 5 years old, my siblings and I used to play around, and I used to be the dentist, and they would be like, "Can you check my teeth?" And I'd be like, "Yes, I could do that." And I would be like, "You have a cavity," or sometimes I would be like, "No, you don't." Or I would be like, "Brush your teeth more." And it made me feel really good about myself. And I remember going to Mexico 2 years ago, and my grandma and just my aunties were complaining about their teeth and how much it hurt and all of that. So then I also remember like going to the dentist like when I was in Mexico, just because I think something happened to like one of my tooths. And then I went, and it was like, I don't want to talk bad about like anything or anything like that, but it was like the conditions were like not as good as I wanted them to be. And there was like a huge line, and I felt really bad. So hopefully one day I could go back to Mexico. I mean, just to like visit and stuff like that, and just hopefully build like a dental office and just give back for free.
That is a incredible ambition, Princess Natalie, and I am so excited to see that, you know, when stories have that personal connection, it's really nice because you can see that it's something you really care about. So I'm sure we will see that dental office there sometime in the future. Next up, we have Princess Dore from Franklin High School. Princess Dore, I know you are the first female captain of the wrestling team at Franklin, and I was hoping you could tell us a little more about what that means and how you've managed to lead in what has traditionally been very male-dominated sport.
Yeah, so it has been a wild ride. The first 2 years, so I started my freshman year, and so freshman and sophomore year, women's wrestling was still not a sanctioned sport in the state of Oregon. And so that was hard. We had to fight we didn't get the transportation we needed or the funds that we needed. And so the summer between my sophomore and junior year, OSAA actually did decide to sanction female wrestling in the overall sport of wrestling. And so that gave us a lot more opportunities to attend more tournaments, and more tournaments were made, but there's still a lot of progress that needs to be done. This year, I didn't go to any all-girls tournaments besides the ones that the boys were already attending. And so I felt like that was a big downfall or not downfall, but a big mistake that my team made to overlook us like that, even with me in a leadership role. And my school is on the upper end of things. We've had girls for a while. And so I feel like if that can happen on my team, then it can happen everywhere. And a lot of people are a lot worse. And I'm just thinking about how it was for me when I was younger, and how a lot of girls don't even probably go to all girls tournaments at all. And so it was really important for me to outreach this year and try to recruit as many people as I can. But I understand that it's a hard thing to join, and it's a hard thing to participate in, because it is hard for anyone. If you're a boy or a girl, wrestling is an incredibly challenging sport. And so it is a really hard sport on the recruiting end as well. And so I want to go on and be a coach for girls and boys teams, and have people look up to me for that and be inspired to wrestle as well as they can.
That is amazing, Princess Dore. And I know the challenges that you faced in going through some of that and making it work, but coming out and becoming a leader of that team is a really incredible thing. So bravo. Our final princess is Princess Emma from Wilson High School. And Princess Emma, I know you have already had a lot of experience in giving back to your community, specifically with fundraising with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Can you tell us a little more about what you did as a part of that?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. So the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has a program. It's 7 weeks that starts in the beginning of March, and it's called Students of the Year. And it's an initiative where students like me get to raise money for LLS and give back so that we can find a cure for cancer. And so the beginning of my sophomore year, I think, I was sat down with a recruiter, and she was like, I really think you would be a great candidate for this. I think you could raise $25,000. And I was like, there's no way that's happening. That is a lot of money. But I was really worried about taking on something like that. But I kept listening. And I mean, I've had family and friends affected by cancer. My mom's best friend, she had really bad brain cancer, but she's still with us. She's one of the strongest people I know. And I wanted to give back to her. So, sorry. So I said yes, and I did it with someone from my preschool who I've known since preschool. And together we ended up raising $40,000 and won their mission award. And that was just one of the best experiences I've ever had, because it taught me so much about myself and what you can do if you believe in yourself, and that everyone can make a difference. We all have power, even if you don't realize it. And it made me realize that I'm passionate in fighting against cancer, and I'm proud of what we did and proud of being able to stay with that organization. I know last year they raised like $400,000 just in their students division, and I was blown away, and I'm just so happy I got to be a part of that.
That is incredible, Princess Emma, and such an amazing achievement for anyone to raise that much money, let alone a high school student who's doing it while still studying full-time and doing everything. So thank you for doing that. And I think that is an incredible segue into the final princess, the end of our introduction to the Rose Festival Court, because everything these young women have talked about, I think, has really exemplified what we do here at Rotary and how we give back to our communities. So thank you to the entire Rose Festival Court for being here today. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more than I thought I did before, and also introducing you to all of my fellow Rotarians. And with that, I will hand it back to President Kate.
Yay, fantastic. Let me see if I can get this to work this time. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for, oh, it's going to keep going. It always does that. Thank you for each and every one of you for joining us today, and my goodness, being so inspiring. Thank you, Mari, also for being the chair of the day and for leading these young women forward. Off they go. Each of these young women, you are our future, quite simply. And seeing this multitude of varied interests and your different passions that each of you are involved with, it's how you're all looking to be involved with in different ways in the future. That to me is truly inspiring, and I'm really confident that we're all in very good hands. And what all of you who are watching this video right now weren't able to see, as each of the princesses had a chance to speak and to share, all the other princesses in these little video windows that I'm getting to see, they were rooting each other on, they were cheering each other on, they were clapping, they were snapping, and it just reminded me that there is such a bond that is formed between everyone on this court. It's indispensable, and I would assume must be so grounding as you start taking on new challenges in your lives to have this group with you that's had the same experiences. So congratulations on not just grabbing these opportunities that have presented themselves before you, but also stepping into these opportunities with all the confidence in the world, because you, each and every one of you, you belong here in this opportunity that you are in right now. I know that all the Rotarians in our club wish you the very best of luck. I'm sure they are very sorry that they are not able to do this in person, but perhaps there will be a time in the future that we'll be able to figure out some way that they could wish each and every one of you luck from themselves. And hey, I hope I get to be a Rotarian with at least some of you, if not all of you, in the future, because your values absolutely exemplify what service of self is all about. So thank you again. Next week we will hear from Tim Dewey. He is a professor of economics at the University of Oregon. So we thought we might have someone talk about what's going on in the economics of our state and affected by what is going on in the world right now. That will be very interesting next week, very different from this week. And I would like to thank all of our club's membership, whenever, wherever it is that you may be viewing this meeting. I hope that you might be watching this maybe with your family, or you're sharing this video with your friends so that they can not only understand what Rotary is, but what Rotary does in fellowship and in service. A quick few announcements. At 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays, we host a coffee room for our members to be able to have a little bit of social time with each other. And there is also a Thursday social that we've been doing at 4 p.m. It's really quick, it's solid half hour, and one of our fellow Rotarians gives some expert insight into what is going on in their own industry, and then they'll answer some questions from anybody that is joining that phone call. This week's guest, I guess you could say, is Rotarian Dick Clark, who leads the Portland Clinic, and he will be leading that discussion. And if you contact our office, you can get the information to participate in coffee time, or as well as the Thursday social. Lastly, don't forget that we're making these committee quick chats, so more video to watch. I know it's a lot of video, but it's a lot of information that is being communicated in a really great way. So there's a link to those committee quick chats. It gives you an update on what's going on with each of the committees. It's in Spokes on Fridays, and you can also just go directly to our club's YouTube page, and you can see all those quick chats listed there. So, as always, take care of you, take care of yours. Let's continue our service work. This is our time to do service work. Let's continue it so that we can say that we're committed to service above self. It is more than just a motto. It is a Rotarian value to uphold. With that, this meeting is adjourned.